ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special bonus episode of Apron Podcast with show boys, Carlos and Raspass. Carlos, how you doing?
Well, good. I'm good. I'm bumming it around. I'm wearing the same clothes as our last episode. It's just really. I just picked it out and I was like, I'm gonna wear this again. Wink, wink.
For those of you who were watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a Philly shirt. It made more sense on the last show. It makes absolutely no sense for this show. As we said, this is a special bonus episode. It is our first attempt at a bonus episode. In the past, we've done hour-long episodes of these, and in reality, it doesn't really need it because we end up saying the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
This is our 2020 Royal Rumble predictions preview and Carlos's airing of grievances episode, basically. So we're doing a little short thing here, put it on YouTube, put it out there in the podcast world, but we won't number it. It'll just be a bonus episode, get a little bit more stuff out there. So
you get all the stars in Super Mario 64.
Yes,
you get to see Yoshi.
It took me a little bit. I don't know why I thought you said Mario Galaxy, and I was gonna say I have not gotten all the stuff in that yet.
No.
I stopped playing that a while ago.
So many of them.
I was like, I'm gonna finally finish one game. I still have not played Zelda on Switch. Not to get completely off it, but it is. No. I bought it when it was on sale, when the Switch had a sale, and I opened it, and I never put it in. I still have never put it in my Switch.
It's good.
I wanted to finish Mario. I was like, I'm going to finish Mario before I get into Zelda. And then Pokemon started making games, and here we are today.
Ooh, sorry for Arceus. That is apparently really good, and that comes out tomorrow.
Huh?
I said Pokemon Arceus comes out on the 20th. That's a nerd day topic. But we're doing Apron work stuff today.
Yeah. See, you already know that we just recorded an almost 2-hour long episode last when we're rambling on about shit that has nothing to do with
baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So the wrestling show.
We are off to a great start for this short bonus episode.
Exactly.
That's going to somehow turn into the length of a regular episode. You said you have the hold on. You want to air your grievances out first. You want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, well, you know what? I will tie it in with the main event. Yeah, okay. I will tie it into the main events of the night. So I will hold off until we go into that section of the match. As surprise, it's about the Rumble match itself and like a little grievance. So we'll start with what list do you have?
I will follow your list, so you can run down your list and. So
I'm sure there's some matches that still haven't been confirmed. I think you have a list that says maybe Arcade Bros and Alpha Academy. But I know they have a spelling bee or another spelling bee or some shit like that on Monday. So we'll see. But we have 6 matches listed for
this is why I don't watch WWE.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you say spelling bee? Yeah, I did. 6 matches confirmed so far for the 2022 Royal Rumble, which will be Saturday, January 29th. So first match we have, I'm going in descending order because we assume the men's Rumble is going to be the main event or the women's Rumble, either or.
We can guess what goes on. That's one thing we've done in past episodes. We'll guess what goes on last and stuff. So we can do that.
I assume it's the Rumble,
the men's Rumble.
Yeah,
let's not assume that the Rumble is the men's Rumble. Yeah. Okay, that's
fair.
We don't have the Rumble and the women's Rumble here.
I think just leading into this year's WrestleMania season, like kicking it off, I feel like in other years, like what was last year's was the men's Rumble. I'd have put the women's because of Bianca, like that storyline, how that led into everything. In hindsight, I'd have put Bianca, like the women's Rumble, as the main event. Just have Bianca standing tall at the end of that pay-per-view. Similar to Asuka, like when she won in Philly,
right?
Like that was the end, and then we had Ronda Rousey. So I'm gonna go and say I think it's the men's Rumble again this year as the main event.
Okay.
And then leading to some kind of confrontation, kind of alluding to whatever is going to be WrestleMania, whatever 39 or whatever this year. But yeah, so first match I have listed here is Seth freaking Rollins
Ah, well,
versus
hold on.
what?
I think the women's Rumble is going to go on last. Thank you
Oh,
for letting me
oh, dude,
predict it.
oh, really?
No,
Okay,
no. I will discuss later, but yes, my
yeah,
prediction is the women's. Yeah, before we
okay.
get into stuff, don't worry about it. You could just go along. Good. I'll just sit here and
Yeah.
watch.
No, it's interesting. I can't wait till we get
Yeah,
there because
yeah.
I feel like you have an idea.
Oh, I
So
have.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I'm assuming the first match is going to be the Universal title, kind of in this order, or one of them. So Seth freaking Rollins versus Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion. It's a single match. The Usos are barred from ringside. So I'm gonna say Seth Rollins wins, and that's more where there's smoke, there's fire, because now we know that before Brock got added to the WWE title match with Big E and all that fatal 4-way or 5-way now, it was rumored to be Seth was going to win the WWE championship at day one.
Okay.
So I think this is kind of realigning that storyline that they had, but just with different titles now, right?
Okay.
So I think Seth Rollins wins with some chicanery. Something happens like Brock comes out or something and just mess with Roman Reigns, and that's how he loses. This is how you finally dethrone like the boss, the final boss of WWE in Roman Reigns. I think there has to be some kind of chicanery. Maybe Kevin Owens comes out. Seth Rollins and him are good friends, storyline wise. So it could be that. So who do you got?
I'm sticking with Reigns. I don't think he's going to lose the title. I know where the mindset goes, and I'm assuming in that scheme, Brock was supposed to beat Roman
You
for the
see, it's so
title
funny. Nothing has came out of that, right? Like who was
because
supposed to win that specifically?
that's the only way that makes sense to me is that Brock was going to beat Roman at that pay per view, and then because Roman couldn't wrestle, and they added Brock to the other one, now Brock has a title. Because if that wasn't the case, if Brock was not going to beat Roman there anyway, then why not just have Seth Rollins win the title and not add Brock to the match?
Yeah.
Or have Brock
right.
in the match and Seth Rollins steal the title
again
without Brock being involved.
Yeah.
So in my mind, if you're going to switch it off of Seth and give it to Brock, there had to have been something affected. And in reality, unless Brock was going to beat Roman there, which I don't know how that would have worked. In all honesty, I feel like you can get the same payoff at the Royal Rumble. If we're, and I will talk about it more in the men's Rumble because I'm assuming you have your reason for Roman losing, and we will find out more when we talk about the men's Rumble. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit more about Roman in the men's Rumble. I'm assuming from
absolutely.
you. Okay, so I will get on to that part, but I feel like you could have just done that match at the Rumble then. Have Brock beat Roman, and then Roman win the Rumble later on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because as well, like day one is not like a known. Premiere event, not a pay per view anymore. It's not it's not a known premiere event. It was just something that lined up kind of perfectly with New Year's Day being on a Saturday.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, why don't we do something like this?
Unless they just didn't want the idea of Brock beating the hell out of Roman, and then Roman beating 29 other men in the same night.
That's fair.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Roman. I'm gonna stick with my Royal Rumble and champions winning, that keeping their titles. So that's a huge giveaway for the rest of my matches. But
I did forget to start this episode by saying I actually think this card's pretty decent. Like going down the list, I'm like, I don't. We either have new matchups for people who have had like kind of stale like runs recently, or like just something that there's some interest for me
right
in this pay-per-view. So I mean, it's WWE, they still have a chance to fuck it up.
Yeah,
so we'll see. So next match going on is a mixed tag match between Edge and Beth Phoenix, the Grit couple versus the It couple, Miz and Maurice. I am oddly very excited about this match. Like, this is kind of, for me, other than the both Rumble matches themselves, this is kind of the match I'm most looking forward to. And only because just being a old married couple myself, Like I thought it'd be really cool if like be a Tara tag team and like beat up another couple. Like I thought that would be really funny. So I'm just really excited for like all four of them to be like, it's almost like it's like double dating, you know? I now you put like the actual wrestling or storyline into it. I'm just thinking about four people going on a double date. That's literally what I'm thinking about. And it's just they beat the shit out of each other. I love Beth Phoenix, and that's something they haven't had to do yet or got to do as a couple.
Right.
Is wrestle together and do that and tag together. And the lead up has been pretty, hit or miss here or there because some stuff has been annoying and stuff like that. But like this past Monday, just watching the highlights, Edge and Beth hit a 3D on like security guards and stuff. They were doing like they did the Doomsday device and stuff. They were doing like, Edge does love his like homages to like past wrestling, similar to a lot of people nowadays, like who are kind of giving back, like CM Punk is doing like a lot of Bret Hart stuff in the ring and AEW. I'm oddly very excited about this. I bet you like the Miz and Maurice win with some chicanery as well. I don't want the whole night to become like bullshit finishes. That would take this pay-per-view down for me. But it'd be really cool as well to see Edge and Beth Phoenix win. I think that would just be a cool moment. Like we know like this is going to be Edge's last run. And most likely as well, Beth, right? Like if she stays around for longer than a match, which I would hope so. I love her as a wrestler. I think she's great. And I think she fits really well with the current crop of talent that we have right now. I think a lot of good matches can come out of it if she stays like semi, what do we call it? Not like Cena is right now. The Rock. Yeah, whatever. Like, like not super permanent all the time, but like a part-time. That's what I was trying to get to. It's super late. I'm so tired. But yeah, it'd be cool to see them like around, and I would like to see them win. That'd be cool. This is purely not even thinking about the wrestling. I'm sure the wrestling will be fine. The storytelling will be fine. This is me just having like human interaction. Be like, oh my god, this a double date. Except they just beat the shit out of each other. So who do you think?
I'm going. I'm tugged between, is this the end of the feud or is this just stage 2? Because Edge beat The Miz.
Yes. At day 1.
So then I'm like,
came out to the Brood music.
If The Miz and Maurice win,
then there has to be a rubber match.
Like, yeah, but like, is it another rubber tag match? Like, I have like this weird, like, John Morrison and Christian showing up, and now you got this strong 6-man WrestleMania. It's not going to happen.
No, never.
It's not going to happen.
Thanks to AEW.
Yeah, but like I'm just like,
no, seriously, thank you.
Like, that's what I'm picturing. Like you build onto it. The first match is a singles, the second one's a mixed tag, the third one is this 6-man mixed tag with their tag team partners. So like, how do you go from there? Do you do another mixed tag?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be Edge and Beth Phoenix as much as I think because I think this is going to be the end of that. And then it'll lead to something different at WrestleMania. I would think more of a mixed tag again at WrestleMania, but I don't know that there's another mixed tag out there. Oh, there is. Never mind. There absolutely is. But that takes away from one of my top matches from WrestleMania. But there is that possibility that you can get an Edge Beth Phoenix against Seth and Becky
Damn.
at WrestleMania. That is not my prediction.
But
it's affected by later on the night, but that's
so funny because I was literally thinking, I was like, oh, what about like Corey Graves now that he's clear to wrestle and Carmella.
But but if you want to go big, and you want to go one step above Miz and Maurice, you go with Becky and Seth Rollins.
The champs, right? Like,
so there's that out there. So I'll go with Edge and Beth Phoenix, even though, I don't know. I don't know enough of the storylines to know that if this is going to be the end or if there's still room to grow. So,
the WWE, it could always extend for no reason longer than it should.
Yeah.
So next match we have is for the Raw Women's Championship. It is Doudrop, formerly known as Piper Niven, versus Becky Lynch, which I'm excited about. This is basically they're both heel, right? Like Doudrop was last heel, and I'm like haven't watched much of the lead up, just listening to reviews specifically of this. But I'm very excited about a different challenger for Becky, right? Like she just went through Liv Morgan. That program was actually pretty decent leading up to it. Like that's when we do our normal apron work episodes and we shit on WWE as they should, because they do stupid shit a lot. There's are some good things, right? Like the fact that they put in Becky with other people. I still question Bianca losing the way she did and all that stuff. And I think that was very detrimental to her career path so far. I know she can come back, but it's just like, come on, man. Like that was just same thing with same thing with Kofi. This is just very annoying.
Yeah.
But I like that they put Becky with Liv. I thought that was cool, showing what Liv can do on her own now, without Ruby being there or Sarah. So it was cool. I'm really excited about this match. I think Becky's gonna win. I don't see it working any other way. But I think this is good for Doudrop, especially if you don't somehow have missed those segments and you're like, I like Becky Lynch. Well, like, here, you should like Pepper Nevin. She's actually a really good wrestler.
Yeah. This has that prototypical match of somebody who they felt like they could possibly do without in the Rumble getting a title shot. And it's not knock on her. She'll be in plenty of Rumbles, but I think in their mind, you
never know. She could be a champion down the line.
Yeah, but some of these championship matches, you almost feel like they got people that they're just like, all right, we could do without them in the Rumble. Especially somebody like Doudrop, who, like, if they don't want to go through the whole process of having to have 4 women throw her out and do that whole storyline with her, because they might already have it with 1 or 2 other people and they don't want to do it too many times.
That's fair.
It's easy to throw her in a match like this. But this Becky Lynch is going to win.
Yeah. All right. And then next, for the final match, other than the Rumbles that we see here, it is a singles match for the WWE Championship. We have Bobby Lashley with MVP in his corner, finally, after all these years, challenging Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman in his corner for the WWE Championship. This is something that's been in the making forever. Like, and the lead up has been very fascinating to see, because Brock has addressed some of the stuff, like the criticisms for Bobby, right? When he first started WWE, like, oh, you're just Brock Lesnar light, or all this stuff. But that's kind of the appeal, right? Like, they're both like collegiate athletes, both powerhouses, both like freak of nature in like sports in general, and legitimately both MMA athletes and winners, not like CM Punk, both winners in the MMA world, whether it be Bellator or UFC. And this is something I've wanted, and I worried when Bobby debuted. And I was like, well, they're gonna have to, and they held off for so long. But the run that he's had since winning the WWE Championship and then subsequently losing it to Big E, which I thought that was a good progression for the title to go. I have been really excited for this, and I'm finally glad, even if it's like so many years later, I'm finally glad that I get to see Bobby and Brock. I hope, to steal the, Big E's line from the New Day podcast, like, big man bump meat. That's going to be this match, but I hope it's on the better side of Brock matches.
Right.
I hope it's not too plotting, too like boring, like similar to the Goldberg match from WrestleMania 20. I hope it's like a little bit like more fast paced, because they both are fast. And I think there's room to have a really good match, especially if Brock's interested in it. Because when Brock's interested in his opponent, and like, now we're talking about Brock the person, not Brock the character. Right. We're talking about like when he him against Finn Balor, him against AJ, all these matches, him against Daniel Bryan at the time. Like, you could tell he's in it and he's having fun, and it makes those matches are really good when he's having fun. So I hope this is what this is leading to. I think for Bobby, he seems excited to have this. I think Brock's gonna win to get to the end point of this. I think Brock's gonna win, but I hope there's a chance that this pay-per-view can be a C+. I'm hoping it's a B+, A-. A-. I mean, you have to do a lot to get to A-. I think this is I hope it's a solid B to B+ pay-per-view. Right. And I think that's a good pay-per-view to be, especially with their recent, like, just what's happening in WWE storylines and stuff in general. I think a B or B+, this current iteration is a great. It's almost an A at that point
Right.
with how bad WWE's been lately. So yeah, who's your pick?
I mean, I'm going Brock. I'm disappointed. I felt like this is a WrestleMania match. I felt like
I would agree with you.
I felt like when Lesnar won the title, it opened it up for Lashley to win the Rumble. And then he's like, you can't duck me no more.
Yeah.
I've been saying for years I wanted this. And it could main event night one of WrestleMania. It wouldn't even have to main event the second night. You know what I mean? Even if Lashley didn't win, you finally get this match.
Yeah. I think isn't that telling for people? Like, all right, so for the most part, we shit on WWE a lot, right? And like I said, I always say there's good things you can take for WWE. Sorry to cut you off, but there's a lot of bad there, right? There's a lot of you have to sift through.
Right.
You and me have both agreed just now that this should be a WrestleMania match.
Yes.
I think people in WWE don't, though. And that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
Because I can see this being a WrestleMania match, like you said. And I mean, again, Bobby just wrestled Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, and that was a great fucking match.
And he's believable as a Rumble winner because no matter what anybody says, the guy needs to be believable as a Rumble winner. There's a reason why they always have top guys in there at the end every year. He's believable as a Rumble winner. It just, when they put that title on Brock, they freed this storyline. And then to give us the match here, it sucks. It sucks because I felt like it didn't have, now you have two nights. You don't have to main event with it. You can main event night one with it.
It still counts. Main event night one still counts as a main event.
Regardless, Lesnar's winning. I mean, I can't, it will turn into an hour-long show if I express how pissed I am that this is happening at a Rumble.
I think, and mind you, the Rumble's like, if there's the big four, it's probably number 2, right? It's like WrestleMania, Rumble, SummerSlam,
but not
Survivor
when
Series.
it comes to singles matches, and that's the thing.
That is
SummerSlam would technically be number 2 if you're not going to give me this at WrestleMania, give me this at SummerSlam, because SummerSlam, a singles main event, is bigger than at Royal Rumble, and
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, and look, to me, even if it was like a WrestleMania match, I think Brock's winning. Yeah. I obviously have an idea of how this is going and how I think WWE's doing it, and that's why I'm picking Brock as well, and why I picked Seth Rollins. Yeah, not just because of the smoke there's fire. You're supposed to win, but I think we're getting to something there. Okay. So let's go with the women's Rumble.
All right.
There's my main event. I was gonna say your main event. We're also at WrestleMania 38. I am correct. There's 30. Obviously, both Rumbles are 30 this year, as it's normal. I'm gonna start airing my grievances here. So, my issue, I have 2 issues with the Rumble match itself. One of them is specifically for the women's, and it was issued last year with the men's, or 2 years ago, I forget. So, with the Rumble itself, they have steered away from, if there's a single match earlier in the night or a tag match, whatever it may be, that person, for whatever reason, does not enter in the Rumble anymore. And I think the first year it was Daniel Bryan. If you remember this is the one where was that in Philly? He wrestled Bray Wyatt.
No.
Okay.
No, but you're talking about when they booed Rey Mysterio at 30.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember watching it at Walton's, and I've been to every Philly Rumble, so that's the only reason why I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a poor decision. I don't hate Rey Mysterio. We talked about this on the Nerd Day episode, which you can find on Nerd Day on YouTube. I don't have a full URL yet, but yeah, when we talked about WWE 2K22, we talked about how weird it was Rey being the cover, but that was a weird turning moment because, like, why, like, either of them, why wasn't Bray or Daniel Bryan in that Rumble when they're both like some of the biggest stars? In the past, we've had people show up randomly. Again, I was watching a review of WrestleMania, I don't know, whatever. I forget. Batista won. He beat John Cena. Was that 2003? something like that. 2003 or 2004. It's like when Batista went to wrestle Triple H. That's the lead up for it. Yeah, dude, like, but like, what's the name? John Cena had like a match the night before. Or there was people who had matches the night before, like, or earlier in that night that entered the Rumble. So, especially with a talent pool that's as dwindled down as WWE's is now, and I doubt they're going to use NXT talent, or if very little, if not, this might be the time where they transition some of that older NXT talent to main roster talent. Why? You know what? I bet you we don't see Ali after all the stuff that's been going on. You know, like, why hinder yourself and not have, all right, Bobby Lashley loses. Why can't Bobby Lashley be in it? Like, I want him to be it, and I've been trained since I was a child to assume that anyone's in a singles match, they can come back, even if hurt. People have come in hurt and wrestled, but the past couple of years that has not been the case, and it's been, I think, to the detriment of the Rumble match. I mean, I still love the Rumble match and all this stuff, unless you have there's 22 in the men, 23 in the women that have been confirmed so far. So we have 8 and 7 still need to be like. Are there people we don't know? Are there legends? There's rumors and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's a lot. And then with the women's match, this year is doing the same issue I had, I believe, the year prior. I believe it was Charlotte Flair is entering the women's Rumble match as SmackDown champion. Why? You tell me there's nobody on SmackDown you can wrestle? Just to have a one-off like 10-minute match or something. Not that, I think the women deserve more time, but like, this is, in my head, the Rumble takes up the precedent of the time for a 3-hour pay-per-view or 4-hour pay-per-view. And then you have other matches in there and that are a decent quality. You tell me there's nobody for Charlotte to wrestle, that you're just the storyline she's going to go in. I didn't like it when Brock did it either. I thought that was horrible. Like, it was, what if he wins and all this stuff? Like, okay, you got a storyline out of Drew McIntyre beating him and all this stuff, but at what cost? Like, I don't think it looks good to have her on there. And I'm gonna go down through like who's in. I'm sorry, and there's also 21 out of 30 entrants for the women. I stand corrected. So there's 9 that have not been announced or teased or anything. So there could be 9. There could be NXT stuff. There cannot be NXT stuff. There could be some, who knows if Medusa shows up for our last episode. You should have watched. But who we got right now so far on the Raw side, we have Rhea Ripley, the newly healed Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke, the 24/7 champion, Carmella. So Dana Brooke's going to get the chicanery. There's going to be like Reggie's going to, they're going to try to pin her for the belt, whatever. Carmella, Queen Zelina, Tamina, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan. From the SmackDown side, we have Shotzi, Natalya, Aaliyah, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, and the SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. From the Hall of Fame side, we have Nikki and Brie Bella and Lita. And then I'm going to end with the thing that makes me happy the most. So from unaffiliated people, we have Michelle McCool, Kelly, and Summer Rae. And then finally, the Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, the returning Mickie James, who will be coming out with her Impact theme song, Hardcore Country, which she sings. That's her song. And it's been confirmed that she's going to be coming out listed as the Impact champion, the Knockouts champion, and with the Knockouts belt. So she's going to show up as champion. Paranoid person. Does Charlotte Flair take her out? Because WWE wants to show they're better than everyone and have Charlotte Flair take out another company's champion. That if that happens, I'm going to be legitimately upset. Like, legitimately upset. I don't expect Mickie to win. Don't get me wrong. I don't expect her to win. I think it's really cool. I think it's really big of her to show up. The Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics, they were also offered to do the Rumble. They declined because they felt that it's not that there's beneath them or anything. It's not bad blood thing. Maybe they're a little angry with what happened with them, but they felt where they're at right now with the Impact's tag team champions. Like, I think that's a little better. Mickie James, I mean, legit got her stuff in a trash bag. Like,
Yeah.
so I big ups on her for like being like, no, this is good for like everyone, right? And she's been that kind of proponent for women's wrestling. She was behind the scenes for a lot of Evolution, that all women pay per view in WWE, which was actually decent. She's wanted more stuff like that. She's headlined, or not headlined, but like kind of co-produced like the all women's NWA thing like that, and she just main evented the past Impact pay-per-view or one of the other ones. So I big ups on her for doing it, and I think it's really cool that she's actually coming out with the title with her theme song from Impact listed as Impact Wrestler. The first time they've announced like another company in modern time. Who do you think wins this? Because if Charlotte Flair, she says she's picking her own opponent. That doesn't fucking change though. If a Raw person won and they happen to pick a Raw Becky, then you still have to pick your own fucking champion, you challenger, or someone wins some kind of shot clock thing where they win.
Well, I guess that was the idea, is that she gets to pick.
Yeah, but is that appealing? That doesn't, to me as a wrestling fan, seeing Charlotte
to
in that
you
match,
as a wrestling fan, but I guess the idea is from a wrestler's perspective. You want to win your championship match at WrestleMania, and I'm going all completely storyline based, and she gets to pick whoever the fuck she wants if she wins. So now she gets an easy payday at WrestleMania. She gets to bring on the weakest of the weak to go against.
She picks Aaliyah.
Yeah. And she just goes and beats her and gets her money and leaves. Holds on to her title, leaves WrestleMania with the championship. I mean, I guess there's that concept of it. I think it plays 1,000,000,000% into what I think is going to happen, which is why I think it's my main event. But were you done, or can we transition into me? I don't know if you were.
I'm
done. I mean, who are you predicting wins? I guess.
Looking at who's announced, I'm going just purely on who's announced.
Right.
I'm gonna go with Rhea.
Okay.
The only wrench in that to me is Nikki. Like they just started this feud, so I see that being a wrench, and I don't know how you just not justify it, but like how do you come to terms with like that storyline as well as going for a championship at WrestleMania in just a few months,
right?
I'm gonna go with Rhea, but with like a question mark.
Now, I'm going to go one. Mickie James, I feel like, starts a feud with Lita that might end up at Impact.
That would be so fucking cool.
I think if they're going to give Lita one last run, if you're going to have somebody sent there to possibly go for that title, Lita makes a whole lot of sense if she's going to be in at least a semi-full run here for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a whole lot of sense if there's any truth to the rumors of like her going to AEW as like a full-time wrestler, and that's what led to WWE
I did
kind
hear
of.
That, yeah.
So if that's the case, I could see them. She's the type of person, like it'd be like if John Cena was like, "Hey, I wanted to go wrestle in ROH for one show," like they would at least consider it, And I feel like Lita has earned that, where they're like, "All right, you're not a full-time wrestler. You might not make it past a month." All right, go ahead, do what you got to do. If that's the only way you'll come back and wrestle for us is if you get to do this with Mickie James, and go ahead. There's that. I fully believe that entrant number 30 is going to be Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda Rousey.
Credit to those rumors that popped up earlier this week.
And I'm only pushing it more because now she's got like a show on ESPN or something like that. Some like Ronda's Road Stories or some shit. I don't know. It's like just started.
Is it where she denies like school shootings? She's a nut job.
But
and it does a really bad Sonya Blade.
But right now, you got Becky's a heel.
Yeah.
Ronda's been gone for a while. She'll get a huge fucking pop at 30. You get that rematch at WrestleMania between them two.
1-on-1 too.
And then Ronda goes over, winning the title back.
Okay.
It brings her back, into her dominant thing. And now Becky, kind of runs full circle a little bit because now she's the good guy and Becky's the heel, where I know she was still technically like a good guy, I guess, at the time, but Becky was so over that it didn't matter what was happening. So that's where I said that whole Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch tag team match.
Okay.
I fully believe that's, and I could see, I could see Charlotte sitting there by herself before 30 comes out.
Pulling the fucking Stone Cold, just
her waiting for 30 and have it be Ronda Rousey. And Rousey beats the fuck out of her and throws her out. And now
because we wanted that too, right? We had that Survivor Series match, but
so you almost
shout out to Greg Miller, by the way. He legitimately was in the side during that match.
Well, then you get your 5 to 10 minute Rousey and Charlotte, them alone in the ring. Rousey wins, and then she goes on, and you think that she wants to go after Charlotte because of what just happened there and everything like that, and then she goes after Becky.
Yeah,
it writes itself.
Yeah.
So I could see them ending the night, and I found it funny that you were talking about how that if they're going to main event with the women's, that has to be something big, and you're like, that night when Asuka won and Ronda Rousey came out, I'm like, I think that's happening again.
That's a great, and I'm going with what I see in front of me. I want to believe that rumor of Ronda, and I think in a wrestling capacity, I do like her being in WWE. I mean, outside of wrestling, it's that Hulk Hogan thing again.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't say the N-word about me, but denying that, feeling that kids getting shot is a hoax is pretty problematic.
Hey, I don't care about anybody's personal opinions when it comes to certain things, like when it makes sense for my entertainment. I don't know. I mean,
I do like her in the ring.
Even the whole
hard.
The Gina Carano thing with all that and the Mandalorian and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck what she says on the outside. I understand why they have to worry, but I don't care. Yeah. I'm not going to not watch something because somebody said something not in character on Twitter when I feel like they're a good fit for something else. That's just my 2 cents when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wish it happens. I'm fully believing that that's what happens. This show, it's literally stacked for a Royal Rumble, like you've already said, as far as when you look at the
decent
matches.
Yeah, it's actually pretty high profile matches, like each one of them.
If you're going to give us something, it's hard to give us another Reigns win at the end of a show. If I already know that's where you're heading.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's hard to give that at the end of a show. And so I think it's going to be Ronda, and I will hurry up and say that Daniel Bryan show was in Pittsburgh. It was when Batista won at the end.
Yes.
And it was CM Punk's last match ever in WWE.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
When you said that earlier, I was like, oh, where was it? And I was like, Batista won that. I remember because that was the whole WrestleMania where Daniel Bryan had to beat Triple H, and then he got added into the Batista.
That makes sense.
Randy Orton.
that would be like
that was the beginning.
That'd be 10 years ago. That was the Yes Movement. Yeah. And we're at 38. So it'd be 2024 would be the 10-year anniversary of that.
Yeah.
And that's WrestleMania 40. That's a great good memory.
So it was. I looked it up.
Oh, that's really impressed.
Well, no, I looked up the pay-per-view and seen it was in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I remembered the storyline of Punk and Bryan. I remember because that was when he was red hot, and that's what led to WrestleMania.
Yeah. Now, is Ronda who you want to win or who you think is going to win? Because I think that there's a separation there.
Can I say I don't care who wins?
Yeah,
because I don't watch WWE, so
no, that's right. I
gotta be honest.
I think that's perfectly fair. I'm super pumped for the women's Rumble and super pumped for the men's Rumble because it's literally the Rumble match is like one of the coolest things I think in all of wrestling.
I'm excited for the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. For the first time in a long time, I don't have a preference on who would win either match. I don't know that they could give me anything, and I'd be like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, surprise me, great. Give me your top people, okay. If Charlotte and Roman Reigns left as the Royal Rumble winners, I'd be like, all right, cool. What are they going to do? Because I don't watch it enough to be disappointed when it comes to it. You know what I mean? I have not built, other than the Lashley Lesnar Lashley Lesnar potential of WrestleMania getting spoiled at Royal Rumble. There's nothing there where Seth Rollins, Doudrop, and Bobby Lashley could all win, and I wouldn't be like, what are they doing? Because I don't care what they're doing, because the next thing I will watch is a replay of WrestleMania. So you know what I mean? Like I'll pay attention to it, but like as far as like looking up, hey, what happened on WrestleZone or whatever. But like, yeah, I think for the full circle storyline, I would like it to be Rousey. I think it brings national attention to WWE, and more national attention to wrestling in general is good attention when it's not about concussions or Vince McMahon not letting people go on Twitch or
not letting Ali out of his contract.
Yeah. When it's not stuff like that.
Actually, by the way, hashtag free Ali.
Yes.
I'm part of that movement as well. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. I hope we see some more surprises as well. Like, I'd be really cool to see some other people from some other.
See, the women's match, I don't think we're going to get many surprises in those open spots because I think Rousey is the surprise. They named way more surprises in the women's match than they did in the men's match, which leads
literally dropping the name of Mickey.
Yeah.
Like that was
that leads me to believe that they wanted to get their surprises out so you wouldn't think there's a surprise, so that one surprise that does happen,
you're like literally
because you're like, oh wow, they already gave us like 6 people who ain't on the roster. They're not going to give us anymore.
So out of that's 9, right? And if you take Ronda as that surprise, there's still 8 left. You think are those just NXT people or?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that you see like Mandy Rose, maybe. Who is the? You got Dakota Kai and who was that?
Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah, I could not think of what her last name was. That's I was trying to.
Yeah,
like I think.
And to be fair, we still have like 2. Not only do we have social media that they can announce, we also have like a SmackDown still. The Go Home SmackDown still this Friday.
Yeah,
we're recording.
And
we've on Thursday.
We've seen before when people have been announced where we're like, oh wow, we got 10 unknown. They're all going to be surprises, and then Royal Rumble comes around, and they announced on Twitter 3 hours before the show 5 guys that we haven't seen on TV forever is now in it.
That's exactly it. So now moving on to the men's Rumble, there are 23 as the time of recording. There's 22 out of the 30 entrants have been announced. Going on Raw alone, we have Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Austin Theory, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, Big E, Kevin Owens, Almost, Randy Orton, Riddle, Chad Gable, Otis, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode. On the SmackDown side, we have Sheamus, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, and Kofi Kingston. Notably, Xavier Woods is out. If you watch G4, since he's like the main host of that, he has like a leg injury. So he's out for a few weeks. He should be back in like mid to late February. And then we have unaffiliated people. We have Johnny Knoxville. So there's that. Do we get surprises for the men? Do we get anybody from Impact on the men's side? Do we get a Matt Cardona?
No.
Who Nick? I would shout out Nick from Entrance Ramp. He did mention that. He's like, well, what if we get Cardona?
No.
Now he's done his like tour of like GCW and all. Not the full time again, but like
right. I think you get some legends that we've seen over the years. You get like a Hurricane Helms or something like that. Okay. I think you get a couple of those guys filling in the spots. I think, I mean, if Reigns or Lesnar loses their titles, I think they're a surprise. If either one loses their titles,
they're gonna I think like, are the Usos even in this? They haven't been announced, but I bet you. So my prediction,
one of the Usos giving the spots up
is giving their spot up to Roman. Roman wins, goes against Brock Lesnar for Rumble, WrestleMania. That's where you saw where I was going with that anyway. That's actually where I was going. So yeah, either he beats the shit out of someone like Becky did, or like they took someone's spot, like all that dumb shit.
Now, if they're going that route, what I would like to see, and this is the inner fan of good booking. Oh, wow, I'm so happy that we were going to do a short special episode. Sorry for those of you out there who got to watch an hour-long special episode.
Again,
this is what happens in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
that when they actually have some interest.
Well, we're almost done. It's the men's.
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up quick.
So, but that makes sense in the scheme of I want to see Roman come out and lay down.
Oh.
Just let Seth win. And you'd be like, what the hell happened? And no explanation. Just get up and walk away, and Seth just laughing, like Seth confused.
Like, holy shit, I won, yeah.
And then you find out it's because he wanted to save himself because he wanted to take. I don't know the whole ins and outs of the storyline. Is Heyman with Lesnar now?
Yes.
So I see it being all kind of set up, or maybe like, when he's in the back, like he bumps into Lesnar and Heyman or something like that. And they show that before he comes out, and he comes out and he just kind of lets him win. And he saves himself because then it was like, all right, like he cared more about getting like, one up on Lesnar and Heyman than he even cared about the title, or something. I don't know. I'm looking at, hell, I could see him winning against Seth Rollins and still entering the Rumble and calling out Lesnar the same exact way,
which
and having some title for
titles.
Yeah, and that's a way for him to do it. He can take one of the Uso spots still with the title. I do think that is a way to get him in the Rumble. And all honesty, I didn't have a pick for it, and that's probably the direction I'm going. We're both going there. I'm just going title versus title.
Yeah,
Reigns against Lesnar. Instead of him laying down, because I just don't see that happening. But yeah, I think that'll be the surprise, is you'll find out the Usos are in it, and you might not find out until like
Sunday.
Like right after Reigns wins the match, he goes back and the Usos are like, hey, yeah, we're in the Rumble tonight, we can bring some more gold, and he's like, let me have a talk with you guys or something like that. You know what I mean? And then they cut away, kind of hinting towards it.
Yeah.
So, I think that fits. The men's Rumble, I don't know where they're at, but I feel like you're going to get a lot of like I said, Hurricane Helms.
RVD, maybe.
Your typical guys that you see
Kane.
Every couple of years. Yeah. Booker T.
Did we get Undertaker?
No.
Do you want Undertaker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I want him in there. No, I don't want him in there because it's just going to make him look weak.
I want him also to take care of himself. He has kids. Yeah. Stop trying to kill yourself.
But he's not like the other guys.
Mickey Rourke's a wrestler. Stop.
But he's not like, he can't like come out like Booker and do a couple moves and then get thrown out. If Undertaker comes in there, does a couple moves and get thrown out, and then he leaves,
you're just chipping away. Even more so at the legacy.
Yeah, it's like what do you do?
Damaged.
Unless he's coming back at WrestleMania to avenge whoever eliminated him. Like, there's no payoff.
No.
And I feel like he hasn't been away too long.
Goldberg?
No. I feel like Goldberg needs to win or come back at WrestleMania. Just in
general. Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get anything. I don't think you're going to get anything
pleasant
big.
Surprises, right? I do feel like we're going to get somebody that's not affiliated with the company at all that is on TV. And I don't know if that's, if that's Impact necessarily. I don't know if that's a Cardona. Maybe that is someone from that company, like William Morrissey, who used to be known as Cass. I just maybe it's Moose. Maybe it's the Impact World Champion.
I don't see any of it. I just don't. I think your biggest surprise, other than Reigns finding his way into the match, is Gunther.
Yeah.
I truly, I believe his name was changed for him to show up at the Rumble as Gunther and not Walter.
Yeah.
I have that weird feeling that he's gonna show up.
What are your feelings toward have you seen the internet scuttlebutt about AEW people showing up? And I agree. Like, listen, you always say never in wrestling, right? Not that this is a never thing, but it doesn't seem plausible. Now, would I like to be wrong? I think that'd be pretty fucking cool. I think it'd be really fucking cool if Cody shows up. Yeah, I get it. He's on a handshake deal. He actually legitimately does not have a contract. He literally stated that on AEW's podcast. He is working on a handshake deal. He is not on payroll. There's always a chance. And there's and by chance, I mean literally there's a 2% chance, right? And there's a percentage. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think what a lot of people are hyping themselves up. Like, he doesn't show up, there's definitely going to be people like, oh, you should have come. Maybe. No, dude. He also pissed off the whole fucking company.
There is 3 guys in AEW that have a more than a negative % chance. And that is CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Chris Jericho. There is not a single other person on that roster that A, could go tell Tony Khan, hey, I want to go do this, and him be kind of okay with it. B, WWE welcome them with open arms, and C, wouldn't get completely ripped to shreds by the announcers. Jericho possibly.
Yeah, and that's when he's done with AEW, though. Like, he's not going to show up under contract.
But I'm saying I could right today under contract with AEW. There are the only 3 in AEW that I can potentially see possibly, because I think that WWE would not completely write them off when they come in. They come in, do their moves, get eliminated, whatever. I don't
even
think
Punk. You don't think WWE was talk shit about Punk?
No, because I think Fox would
don't burn this bridge, motherfucker.
Yeah,
you never know what can happen.
That's what I do believe that. I don't. Are they going to say, "Oh my God, it's the whatever many days champion"? Are they going to put him over? No. Do they think they would be like, we haven't seen him in wrestling since whenever? You know what I mean? Like, you probably get a pot shot like that. Like, CM Punk hasn't wrestled since Royal Rumble, however many years ago, you know what I mean? And purposely say wrestle. Like, I could legit hear Michael Cole having Vince McMahon say, you say wrestling, damn it. Like, no more sports entertainment. This is wrestling. Tell him that he hasn't wrestled. Nobody has seen him.
If I had to go crazy, your 3 sound great. I would take CM out and I would put Cody in. And that's only because I feel like Cody's positioned himself.
I think they would trash Cody. I think Dustin is probably actually the best number 3. I think he'd show up as Gold Dust. They might not even refer AEW.
That's fair.
And then he'd go along his way. I guess that's what I'm trying to think of people. I think the higher ups would not want them to fuck with Punk. Punk would never do it. I mean, let me start this out here by saying Punk. There was a 0% chance Punk would do it. Punk is the least likely of those 3 to even want to do it. I think
the only way CM Punk ever goes, by the way, into the WWE Hall of Fame is when he's dead.
Yeah, they're the only 3 I think that have that kind of pull for both companies to make it happen. I guess is more what I'm saying. Like, I don't even think Cody does. I think if Cody went there, they would trash him because he has done nothing but talk about war and all this other shit. And I think they would trash him. They would rip him to shreds on the announce team. I think Mickey is going to get somewhat of she's a champion. You know what I mean? Like, I think
they did mention they will say Impact Knockouts champion and stuff like
Cody,
that.
I think would get ripped.
The only worry about Mickey is how vocal she's been about WWE, and then you will have their champion in the Rumble. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that worries me. But yeah, I mean, there's a good point there. Now, someone that I'm stealing this from Nick over, who formerly of Entrance Rant. He mentioned Nick Aldis. Do you see Billy Corgan being okay? He's not champion, mind you. He's not an NWA champion. He is under contract with them. But because Mickey's going, do you see Nick Aldis show up?
It would be cool.
Also, then I want Nick Aldis and Mickey James versus Edge and Phoenix.
I don't know enough about this stuff. I'm only literally peddling rumors, but apparently Nick Aldis, there's a reason why WWE doesn't have him right now. There's a reason why AEW has him, and it's not because he chose NWA. It's because they didn't want him because of his attitude.
Yeah.
So if there is any real credence to that, I don't see them bringing him in because he doesn't have a tie to WWE to the point that I think they would look past any of that shit. You know what I mean?
Never. And it's no offense to him. I think he's a good wrestler, but he didn't have. I don't think he's ever had the pull that like AJ did in Impact. You know, like AJ is like the cornerstone of TNA and then Impact, so much so that he was undeniable main roster. Like he did not go to NXT. Shinsuke went to NXT and he beat Brock Lesnar for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in New Japan. They were like, no, you still go to NXT. Kenta still went to NXT. You know, Finn Balor still went to NXT. AJ went straight to WWE proper.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like that's how telling like he is. So I don't know. I don't think as well he has that credence to be like, hey, you could just show up on the main roster as like a surprise thing. Like, I mean, it would be cool. I like him, but yeah, you're right. He there's been rumors he has an attitude problem, specifically with them companies. He has been vocal in the past, like very vocal.
Yeah.
If you think like the Bucks or anything taking pot shots, is like, no, this dude's taking for real shots.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think your surprises are going to be Roderick Strong, Tommaso Ciampa, LA Knight, Pete Dunne. I think you might see Gunther in there.
Yeah. Braun Breaker.
I don't think so because I think
you save him, right?
I think you're going to make him look too weak. You're not going to bring him to the Final Four right now. I think he's a guy that they'll save.
That's a good point. I would
almost like a Keith Lee Survivor Series type thing where unless he's going to come in and be pushed to the Final Four as like, hey, the face of the company, you know, he's the future face, and he's standing there right in front of Reigns in the final two or some shit, which I don't think he's ready for. Which next year he probably will be. That will probably push him to the moon, and that I could realistically see him next year not making it to the main roster, but showing up in the Rumble, making it to a final three, and being like, oh my God, who is this guy? He's going to come here and dominate.
That's a great, if he dominates, especially, I see that trajectory as well for him.
Yeah.
It's lucky that he actually has the talent behind it. Thank God. It's interesting. So I'm going with Reigns. You're going with Reigns. Two separate ways we're going with it. So it's very interesting. I don't like credence to any AEW people showing up. I do think we may get one or two like people from outside companies that would maybe be total shocks, but like, and I if I'm wrong, that's fine. I'm not gonna be upset by it.
I'm trying to. I don't think Cardona. I don't think Morrissey. And I'm just trying to think who else would make any sense. I'm like Trevor Murdoch.
But then that's the NWA champion losing.
Ms. Dale. Like you bring him out as Ms. Dale, Sandale.
Oh my God, can you imagine? Yeah, that'd be funny.
Like I said, honestly, the weirdest one that I can think of is Goldust. And in the weirdest way possible. If you're gonna get somebody from another company, I could see like Goldust coming out, but I just don't. I don't see it. I think you get Booker T, maybe JBL. You know what I mean? You get like those kind of guys that the same guys you see every year.
Yeah.
I think you'll get a couple of the NXT guys that are coming up to main roster show up in there, and I don't know.
You get your T-Bar, your Mace.
Yeah. I think Rousey is the big surprise, which is why I think they gave away most of the surprises.
That's fair.
Yeah,
because how crazy would it have been if like there wasn't super big surprises, but there was like a couple of like decent surprises, and one of those decent surprises were seeing Mickey James come out with the Impact title, with Hardcore Country playing as she comes
and you
out.
wouldn't need a big surprise because that would have been a big enough surprise.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're announcing it makes me feel like there has to be something bigger.
Like, it's like a magic trick, right? Like, look over here, don't look over here.
Yeah. Hey,
focus on this hand, don't look at this hand.
Ronda Rousey's been gone for a while. She's gone, and then you see reports she's still being paid by them. She's already had her kid. She's had plenty enough time to get ready to go back. If they're still paying her,
it's about time.
Becky's back from her kid. You know, you got them both there. That's the match that they want to see.
Yeah, and you know, I kind of want to see it too. I would like to see a one-on-one.
It's crazy to think that our two main events at WrestleMania could be Reigns and Lesnar and Becky and Rousey, and I'm not extremely disappointed. I think that's what happens when you don't watch WWE on a weekly basis. In all honesty, I have no investment in any of the other guys, so I am going to quite possibly end this episode or come close to end this episode with the nicest thing you've ever heard me say about WWE. And I will say, ever since I become a very, very casual WWE fan, I get it. I get it because if you gave me Big E and Lesnar, and I'm just throwing random names, and Drew McIntyre and Reigns as your two titles matches, I'm less excited than I am for a title against Lesnar and Reigns. I'm weirdly less excited as a casual fan. If I'm watching week in and week out and watching what McIntyre and Big E's doing, I'm like, come on, you got to give them title shots. But right now, as a casual, I'm like, of course I want to see the two big guys hit.
Yeah.
Who's actually going to win this time around? They've wrestled a bunch. You know, you got face Lesnar and you got heel Reigns. What's going to happen? Is Paul Heyman going to turn on Brock Lesnar? Like, I'm more excited for that because I don't watch it on a weekly basis. So I get from their perspective trying to pull in people like me to watch their shows. When before I was like, cater to me. I'm watching your show each week.
Yeah, do something, man. Do anything.
I weirdly get their ideas because there's a lot of people that are going to be mad about Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch main event. There's a lot of people that will want to see Bianca and Rhea and all these guys. And I'm like, give me the triple threat again. I'll watch all three of them wrestle again. Yeah. And I will actually watch it.
Substitute Charlotte. Let her have her own match. It's SmackDown title. Substitute Charlotte for Bianca. I would that would make me happy. And then like you kind of get like, for me, your cake and eat it too. Bianca's back in that main spot again, or high up on that spot again.
But I get it from their perspective, luring in a casual fan. I know who Bianca Belair is, but a lot of casuals might not really know who she is.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to say, hey, well, there's these two people and this other person you never heard of. I kind of weirdly get it. And I'm going to throw up after this episode because that's the nicest compliment I've ever given WWE.
Yeah, it hurts for you.
It doesn't speak to me as a wrestling fan. It doesn't speak to you as a wrestling fan. But I get it. I get it as a casual fan because they're not trying. They assume we're going to buy. They can give us a pile of shit on a plate and we're going to buy because it's WrestleMania. That's not who they're trying to get to buy. They already know they got our money. They want the other people's money. And Rousey against Becky Lynch. And honestly, that's why Daniel Bryan got pushed in there. He didn't get pushed in there because of us, the hardcore fans. He got pushed in there because at every sporting event, they were doing yes chants. That's why he got pushed in there. He got pushed in there because of the national media, just like CM Punk got pushed in there because of the national media. Had nothing to do with us. It was not the fans at the events that pushed these guys. It was everything on the outside pushed them in. And that's, I'm going to go throw up, but it sickens me to say, I weirdly get the appeal of putting your same top guys in each year because I'm more intrigued by it.
This is the first year where I kind of agree with that sentiment. You know, that I kind of want to see. I kind of see where it's going. I'm not really 100% upset. Again, my pick to win is Roman. I would love to see Big E win.
Yeah. If I had to pick anybody to win, I'd love to see Kevin Owens win. I'd love to see him get a shot at one of them.
And also, even if they lose, like that's something that kind of cements like get a Royal Rumble win. You've been champion. Like it's like another thing to add to the plate, which is nice for both of them.
My dark horse is AJ Styles.
That would be awesome as well.
I think
shoot him back up to that top spot.
I think he is the second most likely person to win it. Although if Seth wins the title, Kevin Owens wins Rumble. Kevin Owens going either Seth. Maybe you get an AJ Styles, Seth Rollins match.
I mean, it's wrestling. Any of these possibilities could work. It's kind of nice.
I'm just thinking like Owens just signed that contract. He could have went to AEW. Then we're like, hey, we'll throw you a bone with the Royal Rumble win.
Yeah, you're not going to win at WrestleMania, but you'll win this.
We've seen plenty of times that Big E could win at the Royal Rumble. You can get really excited, and the Elimination Chamber rolls around, and Big Reigns beats him for the shot or some stupid shit. He puts the shot on the line instead of the title Elimination Chamber. Yeah, he's forced to do it.
Yeah, some stupid shit.
Yeah. And
that's WWE being WWE.
Yes.
That's a good way to end this too.
Yeah.
It's semi-short, not really short.
But yeah, I still like calling it a bonus episode because in all reality, and I will say this, there's a lot of podcasts that do reviews and recaps and all that shit. And it's nice and all, but like, it's really hard to go back. I'm not going to go back and watch the 2008 preview for the Royal Rumble right now. No. So like, we'll call them bonus episodes. So, watch it now and then forget about it.
Exactly. See how wrong we were. Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, you can wait till after the show and then watch it again and
hit us up on Twitter.
Yeah.
I should be watching from Jump Live. I do have the kiddos, so that is around bedtime, and usually on the weekend we go a little later. But
the Rumble, I always maybe next year,
I'll definitely
maybe not
catch
this year.
The Rumble matches themselves for live, as long as it doesn't open with one of the Rumble matches.
For those of you listeners out there, and we won't be doing it this year, but every year we do the same thing. Well, I think did you do it last year with us? We do almost like a gambling. We pick numbers out of a hat.
Yeah.
We do that every year. Well, we'll do it again this year. So you're in. But for those of you out there, I would like to do something for the listeners. Maybe not this year, but if we ever make a Patreon or some shit or get some type of merch, we could always do something for like a free shirt or something like that. Yeah, we could always we'll maybe hold it all for next year. It's too close now to start saying, hey, tweet us and follow us to get your spot in the and then find something. But that is definitely a good thought for next year. That's something I could have told you off the air. I don't even know why I announced it. Hey, remember a year from now.
Yeah, listen, before when we do WrestleMania predictions, like bonus episode, we'll talk about the rules for your pool. And so like that one on our main episode after WrestleMania, you could be when I win a shitload of money, you'd be like, that's why you're so happy.
For WrestleMania.
Yeah, right. All right. So that's it. Again, that's our semi-short.
That's right.
Bonus episode. You got to outro us.
Me, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is your.
Yeah. So, on that note, I was gonna plug your appearance on Friday, but no, honestly, I'm probably not gonna post this until Friday. So, hey, if you see this right after we post it at about 2:00, Nerd Day, Twitch.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. I will be live. It's a community podcast day for them. I am one of the ones featured. Hour-long podcast about Superman. If you're watching this after 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will be on the Nerdy Day page on YouTube. Also, give me a follow. What's up, man? What are you doing? If you like Apron Work, why are you not following Nerdy Day? And if you like Nerdy Day, why are you not following Apron Work? Support both.
And this has nothing to do with the Royal Rumble, but Danhausen, you never answer my email, but you show up at AEW. What the fuck,
dude? What the hell?
So
is it because we had Mecca?
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
I paid you back, by the way. So just saying.
I put hashtag Ass Boys on a tweet and you liked it when you answered my email.
Dear Stan, oh, dear M, I called you if you still called back.
Okay, well, this 15-minute episode went about an hour long, too long. Okay, well, on that note, we'll see you in the city.